Hey guys, welcome back to Dual Coast Bros. What's up? I hope everybody's doing well. So today we actually have something to talk about that has to do with the NHL. So today the Buffalo Sabers have fired their general manager Jason Botterill. So Jason Botterill was their GM for the past 3 seasons. So he's had some up and down moments, mostly a lot of down moments because Jack Eichel, their franchise player, he has been pretty disgruntled with the team as of late. Like, the past 2 years would be as of late, because obviously they haven't made the playoffs, and, McDavid's made the playoffs more than he has, so he's very upset, obviously. And then, they've had some issues with Ristolainen on the back end. He's saying, he's going to be the first one to go, but now they say he's going to be on the core. So there's a lot of confusion up there in Buffalo right now. I personally think this is a good move for them because they need a fresh start. Because this would be plan A. Plan B would be to trade Eichel to make him, more satisfied. But you're not going to trade your franchise player. That's just common sense. So I'm going to recap some of the trades made by him just to, maybe prove why he was fired. So his last trade with Buffalo was he traded Connor Sherry back to Pittsburgh, actually, with Evan Rodriguez for Dominic Cahoon. Cahoon's a good player, but I personally think Sherry is better. He's been in NHL longer, has more experience, scoring more goals. All right, and then he got Wayne Simmons in exchange for a 5th-round pick from the Devils at the trade deadline this year. So, for toughness, I guess, to put some scare on the other team, but salary cap-wise, no. Michael Frolik, January 2nd for a 4th-round pick. Okay, so he's going to only trade for 4th. So, he's made some actually decent trades. Well, I think he got robbed I don't think he got robbed, but he traded away Nylander to Chicago for Yoki Haru, which I would have kept Nylander. He's a good player. Yoki Haru's a good player too, but he's not really as good as Nylander. I guess they needed defense. And then they got Jimmy Vesey. They really were pulling for him because they wanted to sign him. And they traded for his rights, actually, but he signed with New York 3 years back, and then they got him back for a 3rd-round pick from the Rangers. I'm just going to do some significant. All right. And then they got Colin Miller for a 2nd and 5th. For a solid defenseman, he's all right, but for a 2nd and a 5th, that's actually kind of steep for him, I think. They got Brandon Montour from Anaheim in exchange for Brendan Gouli, I'm sorry, I apologize if I butcher any names, and a 1st. That's a lot to give up for Montour. For a 1st-round pick and another decent prospect, that's a lot for Montour, personally. But you can disagree with me respectfully. All right, let's see here. Again, he was a good GM. He had good intentions, but just Buffalo, they've had some issues. He brought in Ralph Kruger this year. I think they improved the team, actually. They just need, the click better, the better players. And maybe, because we know Carter Hutton now, he came out on NHL.com and said that he had vision problems. So, that could have been why they were that bad this year. They actually have promising starts to the years, and then they go downhill from, the trade deadline. So it's unfortunate for them. And then, Jeff Skinner's getting paid way too much. They got him for a steal, don't get me wrong. They traded Cliff Pooh, 2019 2nd, 2020 3rd, and a 2026. All that for Jeff Skinner. If Skinner had a better contract, that would have been a steal, and if he would perform better, but they're paying him $9 million a year to do really nothing. I think this was his least point year he's ever had in his NHL career so far. And then that was a big mistake, trading away O'Reilly, because obviously he's a Stanley Cup champion now. So St. Louis really got to sell because they dumped Sobotka and Bergelin's contracts, but then they lost Tage Thompson, which, he hasn't really panned out in Buffalo yet. He's still a 23-year-old kid, and he got great size. That's a plus, centerman, and then in a 1st and a 2nd, 21 second. I'm pretty sure that was the one, I don't know who they used to pick that year. But, and again, he's made a lot of significant trades. He traded Evander Kane to San Jose. So they lost that 2nd-round pick because it was a conditional 1st, Danny O'Regan, and a 4th. But if he doesn't, so I think they lost the 2nd rounder. And then, I mean, he hasn't really had very. Oh yeah, and then Tyler Ennis and Marcus Foligno, and a 2018 third to Minnesota for Scandella, Palmville, and Fort. He got Palmville back because he was their captain, franchise player years previous, and then he went to Minnesota. So it was good they got him back. And then, I mean, other than that, I mean, he really never made, like, any blockbusters other than the O'Reilly one would be the only blockbuster in my mind. But nothing too drastic. So, I mean, I'll give Buffalo... Like, I knew this was inevitable to happen because Eichel was very frustrated, like I said earlier. So, you want to keep your franchise player. And, I mean, their cap situation could be better, but there are many teams that have worse situations than Buffalo. So, I think this is a good move for them just to get a new general manager, kind of a new, fresh face, because this will be Ralph Kruger's second year under the control of the team for head coaching. So, if they can get the group together, they could be a very dangerous team that can compete in the playoffs. Like, right now, I don't think they can make it that far, but maybe 2 to 5 years' time, they could be pretty good. But the thing is, once they reach their peak, then, like, if they do win the Cup again, they never won the Cup, my bad. My bad, I'm sorry, I apologize. If they'll ever win the Cup, then they'll probably go back down the hill again, and then it'll take them a few years to get back up. But for them, they should just take it, day by day, then, game by game, season by season, decade by decade, and so on, because I think they got the wrong idea right now for what they're in. They just need to be above 500 right now, because I think they think they're a contender, but they're not a contender. They only really have Eichel as their only player right now, other than Ristolainen. But he's kind of, this year, he had a weaker year, and it was evident because he said in interviews, he was frustrated, and it showed on the ice. So, I mean, again, I like this, but, I mean, it sucks for Botterill, but he'll probably get a job somewhere else. So, I mean, can't feel too bad yet because there's a lot of other GM spots that will be open, I would say, next year. So, Jackson will be coming in with his opinion here, so I'll transition to Jackson. Thanks for tuning in, and keep your eyes peeled for more videos. We have plenty more videos planned. So, thank you for watching, and here is Jackson.